I speak in capital letters. Yes, that is my identity as a person, and it's a brand to me as a young person as well. When we talk about the multi-party democracy in Uganda here, since 2005 up to today, we have got achievements in the multi-party democracy, as well we have got serious setbacks, because the multi-party system that we're talking about has literally kept us captives. Just like we are under one party. Because you can't tell me that we're in a multi-party dispensation when the electoral systems are not being free and fair. When you are always intimidating people and you are fighting the opposition that you see is a threat to you. Because as we are fighting, when I'm fighting with you, or you are fighting with me, if your hands are in a captive, like chained like this, and your legs are chained, will you really be in a position to fight with that person whose hands are free? Definitely, the answer is no. So, yes, the youth inclusion and the youth and women inclusion, the multi-party democracy brought in that. But see what the positions that the youths are holding, even in the parliament. Are they there? Yes, we have the youth MPs. They have given us, the young people, the privilege to be in the youth MP category. But are those youth MPs really visible in the parliament? I come from northern Uganda. Do I even know my youth MP? No. Why don't I know him? Because he is not even there in the parliament. He may be in the parliament, maybe waiting for allowance or any other things as to say yes, but not really representing the views of the young people who sent him there. Look at the national youth, what that goes on there, which I don't want to stress myself with, because I don't feel the impact as far as the young people's cries are concerned. Look at the recent amendment which was passed. What was the stand of the youth representatives in the parliament? Look, what about yes, the democracy brought in the women inclusion. What are the views of the women had in the parliament? Yes, we have the vice president who is a woman. We have the prime minister who is a woman. Are we hearing them, their views even? Their views are not being heard. Even I've not known the importance of the vice president in this country, yet currently it's a woman. So I want to say, we are in a position whereby this thing called democracy has just been placed there as a tool to like put us in a team whereby we cannot say ourselves, we are packed in one team, ready to be slaughtered by this regime. That is what is happening.
So, Enrico, yes. You keep some points for later. But I think this is the point where you look in the camera and say, the views expressed by the people here are not necessarily the views of the... I knew the excitement of having young people on the panel, it gets in your language lit. No, thank you very much for those views, and sorry for cutting in. Very soon you will start getting sense of the lunch, and it will be hard to keep your concentration. So let's try and go through this very quickly. And you ended on the point of representation, even beyond youth. You brought in women, and that's one of the things that came with multipartyism. That we claimed there was going to be representation of all kinds of shades, of all kinds of opinions. And one of the things you say, really, do we have that? So, Shakira, if I could come over to you. And Shakira, please help me. Are you from the NRIM?
Well, thank you very much.
First, hold on. Are you from the NRIM?
Not really.
I'm in trouble. Okay, but no, please go ahead.
Okay, my name is Wacha Elizabeth Shakira. Another youth MP to come, 2026. First of all, I would love to...
First wait, and you say the Northern Youth MP has done nothing. You're the one planning to come and...
Yes.
You people. I see what you're doing here. Okay, please.
I would love to assure my brother here that much as you haven't seen your Northern Youth MP, but you've got an opportunity to sit next to the upcoming Northern Youth MP. And also have a panel discussion with, okay, well, driving back to the point of multi-party democracy existence since 2005. Of course, in every organization or anything sort of that, we always have achievements and milestones. We can't really only look at the milestones and the challenges. First of all, looking at some of the achievements that I see that it's in existence with the multi-party democracy. Number one, I look at unity. Since its existence, before, it wasn't really very easy for we, the youth, to converge in such a sitting like we are today, and we discuss as individuals from different political parties. Much as there are some challenges that we see, but we ought to also appreciate the people who came up and stood for multi-party democracy. That right now, I as Watcher from UPC, am able to sit on the round table and discuss with someone from any other political party. We are here to discuss as youth. For the time I've been in this academy, there isn't any day when we sat and discussed issues as political parties. We've been discussing as youth. We've been bringing issues on tables, and we discuss and address those challenges as youth. Please, I appreciate the organizers for that. Number two, still looking at unity, I see this has really promoted fairness. It has also promoted a sense of humanity, because by now, different political parties, we would be on the streets. Please, if I ask you to just ask your neighbor from which political party he or she is, you're going to realize that you are not all from the same political party. You are at least seated next to someone else coming out of a different political party. However, I still see some of the grievances that we need to also address, much as we have these sittings of multi-party political party. But before I get into those grievances, when we look at the mental health challenges, when we sit like this, we are able, each of us, we are representing, we the youth, we are representing people from the grassroots, because they are unable to reach here where we are. But because of this sitting, we always come together and we agree. We have those challenges from the different grassroots where we come from. However, still, this is my recommendation, because I believe this is not the end of multi-party democracy sitting. I still recommend that the number of youth representation in the parliament still remains very low. We can't really have only, basing on the statistics of Uganda, we see youth we have the highest number basing on the statistics, but you get to realize that in the whole of Uganda, we only have 4 youth leaders in the parliament. This is really not fair, much as we are still in a democratic world. Number 2, I would also recommend that let there be an increase in the funding of youth projects. And much as these fundings are going to be there, don't mix us with older people. Because when we look at like GROW project that came in, you end up mixing us all. When we look at projects like the PDM, yes, much as the government is advocating that all this is in place, but we need specifically youth projects, and that would be the major core of our sitting here. When we sit and we discuss something, we really ought to see it in place.
All right, great. Well, if I could just piggyback on something that you said. Youth MPs, there's 5 of them in Parliament. At the beginning of this Parliament, one of the things that was celebrated was how youthful the Parliament is. All right? And certain people have referred to it as, substance and form. Now, there are many youthful people in Parliament. Does this solve the problem?
Well, much as there are many youthful people in the Parliament, but if we have youth MPs themselves, they will really be there to address youth issues. But us having many youthful people in the Parliament, they're representing their constituencies. But we need the ones we are calling the youth MPs.
All right. Okay, well, thank you very much for the views. Please appreciate her for her views. Honorable Giraso, there's usually a danger in coming last because they have waited for you and they really would like to. And unfortunately, my question to you goes a bit away from, the context in which we've had the discussion. There's a way in which you look at yourself, but it's also important to know how others look at you. You did do significant work at the regional level. And there's a positioning of Uganda in the region. You've had some of the opinions on how we look at ourselves, on how we perform, the last 20 years of multipartyism. Among our peers, what do we look like? How are we doing? And we could be thinking we're doing badly, and yet among the dwarfs we are a bit tall.
Thank you so much, Gabriel. I'm before an audience that I think I know quite well. Many of these people, we have interacted at the Uganda Democracy Academy, right? How many are graduates of the Uganda Democracy Academy here?
Please put your hands high.
Yes, including Adrico. Both cohort 1 and 2. So I returned last evening with Honorable Kiza from the last lectures for cohort 3 who are going to graduate tomorrow. Why did I start from there? I'm no stranger to controversy, but controversy coming from the position of truth and saying things the way they are. By the way, Gabriel, before I talk about the question you've asked me about how we are viewed within the region as a country, right? But before I get there, just allow me to share that I too was a member of parliament, and I also joined parliament before the age of 35. Together with Honorable Salam Musumba, we served in the 6th parliament and the 7th parliament. Go on record anywhere, those were the best. Because we believed in ourselves, we had been elected on individual merit, we did not have anything tying us to anybody. We had free minds. And I'm saying this to emphasize her point, where she said when multipartyism came, it was not, that change did not happen in a manner that was genuine. I remember the president calling us in a caucus to say, let's go and tell the people of Uganda who are all for the movement, just a few of these dissenting voices, don't mind about them. Let's go and tell them to be Jeko. Get rid of them. Who is them? Them is those people that are not conforming very well in the line of movement. And when we had thought that movement was a system, now movement was becoming a kitongole. It was now becoming some organization, some entity, right? And I wish Honorable Mama Babas was here. Actually, I promised him that I'm going to look him up and we'll have this conversation. We'll take it a little further. Because the movement came as a system of governance. He said that is okay, where leaders are elected on individual merit. If we were to go to genuine multipartyism, then the movement should not have gone as a movement. Yeah, it could have had a different, I'm a promoter. Look at the constitution of the party. I'm a promoter, but where we have gone wrong, I say it so that even you, when you are discussing, you should discuss from a position of knowledge, even when you are in NRM. Gabriel, I know I'm going to fail this exam because the question that has been put to me, I'll get there, I'll definitely get there. And I fear this kind of panel where you are asked questions because you may not be ready for it and you've been practicing at night what you want to say the following morning. But kindly allow me in a very, very short space of time to share this, the background of multipartyism. So therefore, if it is to be Jeko, you come into this other system of multipartyism not as competitors, but as enemies. Enmity coming from a sense of entitlement. Again, I'm sorry that General Mutu is not here because there are the people who went to the bush at a young age to fight to liberate this country. When they come back, sorry, kindly switch off your mic. There's some echo.
Just switch off my
Yeah.
mic.
So when they come and take over power, there is a very high sense of entitlement. It is our thing. I don't know whether we are together. Entitlement. So I want to ask the young people, maybe they'll answer, maybe they will not, but think about it. You are looking for space, right? From who? Is it an entitlement? Have you fought for it? Is power given? Is space given? When we were forming the Young Parliamentarians Association, we were fighting for space. Whenever we held meetings, by the way, to the extent, although we're individual merit and subscribing to the movement system, they started planting, the government, started now planting people on us, spies, to come and know what we are talking, what we are planning, what our minds are. We didn't know. When we realized, we started getting out of Kampala every weekend. We were in somebody's constituency for a fundraising, then in the night we would caucus and talk, and we were not plotting to kill anybody. We were saying, how are we going to take this country forward, because what these good people are telling us is not what they told us in 1986. And some of the people that we are sitting with to talk like that, wait a minute, are people who had been involved in that struggle. Now, wait a minute, what's going on here? Something is not smelling good. Something doesn't feel what it's supposed to feel. So when we do that, and have a semblance of multipartyism and have a semblance of democracy, where institutions are not doing what they are supposed to do, where the independence of certain organs of government is clearly and evidently compromised. And I don't have to clarify on that because now I'm coming. When we are doing that, the rest of the region is looking. To answer to your question directly, I was a Deputy Secretary General at the East African Community, solely responsible for fast-tracking the political federation process. I don't know whether any of you remember that. The other day I was telling the people at the academy that you young people, you don't read, you don't follow things, you don't know which law has been passed and for what purpose, because some of those laws are not innocent. You are not following. I don't know whether you are engrossed in your own day-to-day challenges, but what will happen when you have families and grandchildren like me? You are not reading, you are not educating yourselves. The political federation, that time Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania had been joined by Rwanda and Burundi, who were 5. My role was to fast track that process. And the president had a passion for fast tracking the political federation. How does the region look at us? Number one, the other countries were so suspicious of Uganda and why Uganda is pushing the political federation. The suspicion was that our president wanted to be the first president of East Africa. How does one become a president? That's now my $1 million baggage on my head. Because I had to unpack that provision of the treaty and operationalize it so that we can go into a federation and have a president of East Africa. So what do? I say, yes, since we are democratic countries, to elect a president of East Africa, we should go through some semblance of, a democratic process. We should elect, not select, but elect. How do we elect? How do we elect a president of East Africa? Since we have political parties in all the countries which are said to be democratic, let me convene a meeting of all political parties where they have a conversation, where they talk, where they engage, identify each other and form coalitions across the borders. Very genuine. But I want you to remember that in each of the countries, there's only one ruling party. The rest are opposition. So what do you have in the room? You're not even imagining it. What do you have in the room? You have 5 countries. You have invited 5 delegates from each of the political parties, for example. But in the room, if there are 10 political parties, 1 is the ruling, 9 are opposition. And that is replicated through all the countries. So what have you done, Deputy Secretary General? You have invited oppositions from our countries to come and caucus and overthrow our governments. Uganda is looked at very suspiciously. Our democratic credentials are not appreciated in the region. We are not alone. There's also another country which is very suspiciously being looked at. There are things that have happened in Kenya, if you are following politics of the region, which not even a quarter can happen in this country. There was an election that was overturned. Ladies and gentlemen, young people, do you remember that a judge in Kenya went on the microphone and overturned a presidential election? Yes? We are talking about independence of the organs of government. I'm not saying the judiciary is not independent, but when people go and argue the cases out where there has been election fraud, both at presidential level and lower, and you hear the arguments, and then you hear the judgment. There was this, there was that, there was this, there was the other, there was the other, there was the other, this needs to be improved. What is the conclusion?
However, it was not enough to change the result.
They were not substantial enough to have affected the outcome. Have I answered?
Yes, you have.
Clap for me.
Please. Actually, initially, the plan was to start with each of the panel members, the panelists giving us their reflections. But time did not allow for that. But thank you for sharing your reflections and going outside of what I had asked, because we have benefited quite a bit from the history that you have given. I would have come back to the panel for one more round, but I have noticed that if I go to everybody, that's another 25 to 30 minutes, and we do not have that time. So I'm going to come over to you. Please keep your question short and straight to the point. If it is a reflection, it's okay. It can just be, please pick the most important thing. If the question is directed to a particular panelist, please, direct it to that person so that it's easy to respond. All right? I will seed this microphone so that there's two microphones, one taking care of this side of the room and one taking care of the other side of the room. Where's the other microphone? All right, this is a time for you to ask your questions, supplement. Maybe there is a point that you expected would come out and hasn't, but we're going to do that as quickly as possible. We need a second person to help move the microphones around. Thank you. All right, let's start with the gentleman in a blue jacket. A double breast coat.
Thank you so much, moderator, Mr. Eguma. My name is Ariadan. My question will go to the profession, and I think also former MP Salam will also make insights on it. We are celebrating today, not really celebrating, but we are marking about 20 years of multi-party democracy, and that's the transition from the movement system to the current political dispensation. Both of you have had quite considerable experience, both in the hands under the regime of the movement system and currently nearly 20 years of multi-party dispensation. My question is, are we really witnessing the real tenets of democracy, or it is some sort of facade, or entirely what I could term as contextually as a competitive authoritarianism? Now, competitive authoritarianism brings the aspect of a system which actually allows elections, but then the ruling party doesn't lose. A system that allows media freedom, but then independent journalists are being targeted.
All right.
You will see or recent how NTV and Daily Monitor got removed from some government function. And then also a system which allows political parties. The FDC is there, PFF is there, and also the national platform is there, but their activities are being restricted.
Okay.
So do we have multi-party democracy, or it's just a semblance?
Could this just be a facade?
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
My name is Kario Dan.
Dan, thank you very much. I will have the gentleman in white, then I'll go over the other side and pick two ladies. Yes.
Thank you very much. My name is Masawi Ivan. I'm engineer from the Forum for Democratic Change, where I subscribe. I do want to appreciate our mothers, the Honorable Salam and the Honorable Beatrice, for your contribution in both political systems, that you were there in the 7th Parliament when the specific amendment of Multi-Party and Political Party and Organizations Act 2005 were laid on the table. And Professor, I'm one of the young people who saw your post of 2001 somewhere 10 years later when you are running for president. My question now goes, act compliance with some of these acts. My specific interest is the Political Parties and Organizations Act. We could never have a perfect movement system with inefficient parties, inefficient political organization, inefficient political space of expression. I want you to paint for us as young people, given your expertise and experiences, especially the Honorable Salams, who has founded parties. She has been a candidate on the ballot, if I'm not mistaken, over 9 times. What experiences would you share for young people based on the compliance of our policy in implementing a democratic environment? And where do you advise that as a generation we should steer our efforts? Thank you.
All right, thank you. I saw what you did there. You put in a naughty comment. Let's go to, I had said ladies on this side. So I see one hand there and one in front. Right, I'll end with her. Don't worry, I'll end with her.
Thank you. My name is Nantega Christian. I'm from the Mighty Party UPC. Yes.
The Mighty Party, which one?
The Mighty Party UPC.
Oh, yes, we have to clarify.
Okay, since we have heard and seen that the democracy in our country is lacking, I want to send this question to all the panelists. What is the way forward?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Once more, I'm calling Malingat Merigoreti. I'm so glad to listen from the panelists. The question is, where do we fall? Because when you look at the ruling government, democracy is there, but it is not being achieved. Should we just slip off? Should we give up? Because even if you try to go to opposition, things are so bad. You go the other side, things are terrible. So what is happening? Come up as young people. Right now we are faced with the climate issues. And as a climate justice person, activist, you come up, you're trying to find something on climate which is affecting a majority of the women. And the government is silent. You wake up to do something, they are pushing you down. What should we do? Should we just give up and go to heaven? Or what happens next?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mary Goretti. I promise to end with a lady in yellow over here. Let's take that as the first round. Sir, when we start the second round, I will start with you.
Thank you so much. My name is Ademun Sharon Leah. My question goes to Honorable Salam Musomba. I heard you said you joined parliament when you were 33, and you were one of the people who built FDC. But along the way, you got casualty. And also you said that the Bushmen lacked the software of democracy. Now the question is what happened in the FDC that the party you were trying to build up and you got democracy, like you got casualty? And should we blame the Bushmen on issues of democracy, yet other political parties like FDC that you tried to build really made you get an accident along the way? Was it still a problem of the Bushmen or the issues among our leaders?
All right.
Then the other thing, the other thing is we have seen a trend that every disagreement among our leaders, the next thing is formation of a new political party. So is multi-party politics represent more political parties? That when you disagree, the next thing you form what? A next political leader, like a next political party. Then the last question is, we have seen you, like what my brother said, you've been on the ballot for like 9 times. You've been an MP, then again you're coming for LC5. So are you not denying other people chances when you are discussing issues of leadership and, democracy, overstaying in power, and you are coming for the 9th time, you're even changing from parliament, you are coming down. Are you not denying spaces for other people? Thank you.
Sharon. You make moderators work very hard. Due to popular demand, we're going to take 4 more questions and then we shall just respond to those. And once I am told it is lunchtime, we will say, let us stop there. Madam, let's just make something clear. Are you a sole candidate?
No, sir.
Okay, then, once you're not a sole candidate, yes, let's have this gentleman, that gentleman, and then that lady and that lady.
Yes, my name is Sings Brian. I have 2 questions. One is simple.
We may be able to take only one of your questions. Apologies.
Okay, one question there. The first one,
one question, then the first one.
That's how I start my paragraph. The first one, I would like to first make an observation of what happened in Kenya. I have heard us talk about party this, party that, but we have seen an achievement in Kenya where youth gathered up and called themselves partyless, and they had achieved something which was so significant, and we observed everything that was happening online. You see? So here we are assessing the 20 years where we have had a multi-party system in Uganda. And my question is, if this is a national delegates conference, where this is the group that has to assess the impact, analyze the achievements, and vote whether we have to go with the multi-party or get away with it, what would be our vote? And I would like the panel, since you are 5, to tell us whether your answer would be nay or you say yes. Because now you realize that what are we here to discuss? Are we here to discuss the achievements? Are we here to discuss that is it right to continue with multi-party democracy system or it has failed us? Please help me answer this question, but don't include suggestions of like, if we do this, then we can do better. No, I'm saying that if today is the judgment day and you have to say no to multi-party democracy or yes. Understand? Thank you.
All right, that one will be an easy one. We'll just say yes or no, the nays or the ayes. So it is the gentleman over here, and then the 2 ladies.
Thank you so much. My name is Ahura Ivan from the Alliance for National Transformation. I have 2 questions and I will keep them very brief.
I fear such people very brief. Okay.
One is for Honorable Beatrice Kiraso and another for Honorable Proskovia Salamu Sumba. First question is to Honorable Beatrice Kiraso is, why is it that democracy is failing to answer questions that it should win, and military governments are answering questions that they should lose? In the current African context, we have a rise of military governments that have huge support from civilians and youth people. I am sure most of my colleagues here have been retweeting what is happening in Burkina Faso and other countries.
All right, let's go to the second question.
The second question to Honorable Proskovia Salamu Sumba is, what can we young people do in the different political parties to stop being just foot soldiers and vazukuru of a revolution and become active participants in the transformation of the country? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll take, yes, the lady over here and this lady.
All right, thank you very much. I've taken so much time to read John Kazora's book of Betrayed by My Leader, and I can relate with what you talked about the 6th and 7th Parliament. My question is quite simple. As we shout out multi-party system, is there something of substance from the opposition parties that can contend with the good or bad that comes with a ruling government? Is that something we can present on table, that as we shout for multi-party democracy, that hey, opposition has this on ground that we can fight with the ruling government? Thank you.
Thank you. The final question is from the lady over here.
Thank you. My name is Amazi Sarah. I affiliate to NRM. I'm proud to be there. And, mine will be a concern and also a refutation. Yes, I appreciate the multi-party democracy for its initiatives. The panelists have been complaining about our representations. I want to know if the multi-party democracy has the powers to take a stand that the system can abide to, since it comes across with so many political parties in decision making. How is our voice heard? How do we channel? Because if you look at some of the representations here, you discover someone is saying we have less representation in the parliament. But every financial year, people are creating new administrative units. Why are they not creating for the youth? Why is West Nile not going on its own, actually not having their youth representative? Do we have a stand that we can take? As we are also trying to make sure we fix, my expectation was, as we try to discuss this multi-party democracy, how has it benefited us? I expected the panelists to tell us the good things it has come up with, but to a greater extent, this is how it has affected us. people seem to be pushing us to the wall so much, and yet there are certain good things. We agree we are a young generation, we need to face off a lot of things, but we need you elders to help us speak from the rightful points. I wasn't happy when someone says there are no youth projects. Is it true? Is it true? Or they are inadequate? Or they are not sufficient enough? Or they are not reaching down? They
All right,
exist.
Sarah.
So let's be realistic as we give, because also NRM is doing good. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. You have seen the consultation that has taken place. I've been informed that my airtime has run out, so I can only come to the panel and